Well, okay, it's a little incorrect. It wasn't my nickname. I just super love giraffes.
Okay. And I super love being black, so
so there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what else to say.
I mean,
there's nothing else to say.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, there's nothing else really I can say.
I literally have like people I've not talked to since like high school that if you like found them on the street and asked them to give a fun fact about me who they've not thought about in over a decade, they'd be like, well, I know he really loves giraffes.
Wow.
So it made sense.
I mean,
and I'm obviously not the first half.
We know you're black.
And I like wearing black because it makes me look skinny. I can hide my rolls better. Okay. You ready to get into this?
I'm ready.
All right.
Ready, Freddy.
Black Giraffe made this. Or Black Giraffe is about to make this. All right.
There you go.
Going live. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to After Playlist, the music playlist discussion and reaction podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Terrio.
And I'm Brandon Lee.
And today we're discussing the recent rap beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, as well as checking out Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album and Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department album.
Whoa. I know y'all are not going to talk about Cowboy Carter Act 2 without me.
Okay, we got to increase our security, man. I don't know how she keep getting on here like this.
I mean, it could be worse, though. At least it's just Charita and not an op, as they say.
Yes. Oh, okay. True that. But then again, we don't know nothing about that. Okay. So it's a lot of listening, y'all, but we had to catch up on everything. You know, we had to be current a little bit. So we definitely I was intrigued about the rap beef. Honestly, me personally, I kind of stayed out of it for the longest time because I was living and had other things going on, but it just kept popping up. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the Beyonce's album, and then Taylor Swift decided to pull a Beyonce and drop an album out of nowhere, and all her fans went hysterical, and both of these women can't make a short album to save their life. So
no,
we had to talk about it. And I was like, you know what? I ran it by Brandon, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do it all. Screw it. Let's do it all at one time, because people want to pit Beyonce and Taylor Swift at each other. Technically, they're not beefing, but people try to say which one's better because, you can't have two females in the industry without them fighting for whatever reason.
And like she previously said, it's impossible to have a Beyonce focused episode without having one of our favorite guest hosts, Charita, on.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
When I was told that this was happening, I said, you know what? I'm going to be on there. So you should put me on there.
And here you are. You're on here.
Here I am.
That's it.
So we are going to be referring to, songs from the playlist throughout this episode. So just in case you haven't listened to that, I'll do a quick rundown of the playlist just so you're at least familiar with what songs we'll be talking about. So starting with the rap beef diss tracks back and forth, we have First Person Shooter with Drake and J. Cole from way back in like 2022, 2021. Then we have, all these are very recent. We have Like That, Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar. Then we have 7 Minute Drill by J. Cole. Then Pushups by Drake. Then the tailor-made Freestyle by Drake, followed by Euphoria and 616 in LA, both by Kendrick Lamar. Then we have Family Matters by Drake, followed by Meet the Grams, Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. And we also have Metro Boomin's BBL Drizzy that he put together. And then capping off that section of the playlist, we have Drake's The Heart Part 6. And then the two albums we'll be discussing, as Terrio previously mentioned, will be the Tortured Poets Department, The Anthology by Taylor Swift, and Cowboy Carter by Beyonce. So if you haven't already listened to the songs we're about to discuss, there's a link in the description, aka show notes, of this episode for the direct links to the playlist, for your listening pleasures.
And before we dive into the playlist and into the episode, we have some quick after playlist disclaimers. Number one, we respect everyone's opinion, regardless how wrong or awful it may be. Number two, there is no beef cooking between the hosts this episode. And if there was, it better be medium well, because we don't do no rare beef. Because ain't nobody got no time for that bloody shit. Come fight you for it. It is
I will fight you on that.
Bring it on, bro. I'm sorry.
Medium rare at worst, bro. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
Man, look, it can be done well, can be done properly if cooked correctly. Just because it's dark doesn't mean that it's burnt.
No, man, it better be mooing at me when they bring it out.
Look, I'm not going to have my steak crawl off the plate.
That's how you know it's good, man. You got to fight for it.
No. You
got to wrestle that beef to the ground.
No.
Okay, I actually don't like it that rare, but
steak, period.
Medium well and beyond is just can't.
Medium well is with like just a little bit of pink,
just a little bit of pink, just a wee little bit of pink.
Still with medium well,
but
I prefer well done.
See,
y'all crazy.
See, Charita is a lady of class.
No, you're both ruining these steaks, man.
Okay. Anyway, moving along. Number 3, we're not too bad at profanity, except for the bullshit that Brandon Lee is talking about. But and number 4, we're just talking about the music and occasionally steaks because it's a beef episode, so I had to bring up beef. But we're kind of gonna be talking about the real artists' real life and somewhat cancelable issues this time around. So this disclaimer is kind of invalid. But, we kind of had to touch on it a wee little bit.
Because of the songs.
Because of the songs. So it was in the songs.
A little personal.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
It definitely got a little personal. And finally, we personally would like for y'all to, like and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So if you're enjoying it, that little bit helps us out tremendously. So, you don't have to join a Patreon, but if you can just like or comment or whatever, those little things helps us out in the algorithm and all that good shit.
Yep. So
without further ado, let's finally get into this beef.
Okay. So let me just take like 5 minutes to just give like a chronological breakdown of how all this beef saga happened, if that's cool with you guys. Just because I know, Terry, like you mentioned, you were not really following along with this as it was happening. Okay, so, and just please stop me if I start like waxing long on this. I'll try to keep it concise so we can actually discuss it. So, way back in, I misspoke earlier. It was actually just last year, 2023, that first person shooter, came out with Drake and J. Cole. And basically that kicked everything off because we're talking about the big 3, talking about Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick. But Kendrick was not on that track. And then speed up to just semi-recently and Future's whatever his album is called, has Like That, like first or second on the album, and that has a Kendrick Lamar verse right in the middle that just kind of took everyone by storm, where he's calling out J. Cole and Drake for the first person shooter, them being on there, talking about being the big 3, but he's not on there or whatever. This was pretty immediately followed by J. Cole, who released a whole EP, and then he slapped at the end of it the song 7 Minute Drill, which was pretty great. But within like less than a week, it might have been like 2 or 3 days, honestly, he ended up taking it down from all streaming and apologized publicly to Kendrick, which in hindsight, I think was probably the wisest thing he could have done in that moment. We'll get to that later. Then we finally had a reply from Drake with Pushups, and then like a day or 2 passed and we didn't hear anything at all. Kendrick was still radio silent at this point. All we had from him was his Like That verse. So then Drake got a little antsy and dropped the tailor-made freestyle on his Instagram, not like on any actual streaming. That's why we have like a weird video on our playlist for it. It was basically calling out Kendrick and blah, 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 asking him what's taking so long. Then Kendrick dropped, like a day or 2 after that, dropped like back to back, basically, or it was like a day apart, Euphoria and then 616 in LA. And then like a day or two after that, Drake came out with Family Matters, and you could tell if like whenever you listen to this, he thought this was gonna be it, right? Like literally he was like mic drop moment. He even talks about it in the song he's going on vacation and shit. 40 minutes after Family Matters comes out, Kendrick Lamar drops Meet the Grams and devastates Drake in a lot of people's opinions. And then like the next day after that drops Not Like Us, which rocketed up to all the charts and everything. And then in the middle of all this, while this is going on, Metro Boomin, who in Pushups was told by Drake to shut up and go make some drums, did exactly that and released BBL Drizzy with a worldwide contest asking the entire world to basically hop on and diss Drake for him. It was beautiful. And then Drake finally came back with The Heart Part 6, which is a play on Kendrick Lamar's series of songs starting from The Heart Part 1 up to the Heart Part 5. And that seems to be pretty much the end of the beef at this point. Like everyone has kind of agreed that that's where we're at and that it's basically done with that. So yeah, that's just a quick chronological breakdown for you guys.
Okay. Before we dive into this, who do we think is the winner so far?
Who do you think, Charita?
Why do I have to go first? Have to say Kendrick took it. I have to. There's no other way to slice it.
I have to agree with you.
I have to disagree. I have to disagree.
Brandon, we have to kick him off now.
Thanks for having me on, y'all. I appreciate it.
I at least want to hear what his reasoning is.
I am sorry. The one person that took this battle all the way to the bank.
Oh, you think Metro won it?
Metro motherfucking Boomin. How the hell you go diss a motherfucker without saying a damn thing on your song? He made a diss-strumental. Who the hell makes a diss-strumental? That's why you don't fuck with a producer. I'm sorry. I gotta stand behind the producers with that one. Producers make all these rappers. Without the producer, your ass ain't shit. And Metro Boomin diss your ass and then said, I'm gonna beat a motherfucker with another motherfucker by getting other people to hop on his instrumental to diss this motherfucker. Like, come on. How? No. Come on.
I see your point.
It was a pretty beautiful moment when he like tweeted that out, because he literally just tweeted like, here's BBL Drizzy, 10K to the winner. I mean, everyone try and make a rap over this beat, 10K to whoever the best is. And then runner up also gets a beat. Yeah.
That was okay.
Yeah. So that,
like, what are we doing?
So the BBL Drizzy that's like on the playlist is literally just the instrumental that people the entire world over were going crazy, coming up with their own raps and like posting them on Twitter and World Star and YouTube, and just posting them everywhere.
Dude, I saw
different languages, different parts remixes, of the world, like different remixes.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty nuts.
It was nuts.
I will definitely agree with you in that Metro came out on top of this whole thing,
but lyrically I'll have to give it to Kendrick as well.
Okay. That's what I was about to ask. But between the two actual rappers, who do you
yeah, only because the thing, okay, I will openly admit I have some inherent bias. I don't like Drake. I liked him initially when he came out, but then he started getting all whiny and woe is me, I'm rich and nobody likes me and girl problem, blah 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 blah. Then he kind of just became one note. Not to say that he didn't have the talent or his group of writers didn't have the talents or whoever, but after a while, I'm just like, you still here? Like, I mean, I get it, but I don't. It just, I just left it at, okay, this ain't for me. Because I used to look forward to, oh, this is such and such song featuring Drake. Oh, he about to come with some bars, and then I hear Alicia Keys featuring Drake, and they both sound the same on the record.
Oh, wow.
And I was confused.
You might get Drake to send you a diss track in a minute.
You know what? Whatever it takes to get some views on this podcast, bring it. Sign to our Patreon. But yeah, I was just like, really? So I just didn't. After that, I kind of just lost a lot of respect for him as an MC. And then I tried to listen to what album back in the day, the Take Care album. That was back when Google Play Music was still around, and they gave us the album.
That was like 2012.
Yeah, something like that. And Google Play was like, here's this album for $2, and I requested a refund because I was not happy with that album.
So okay, I also agree. Just in the fact of like in general, before all this, I would definitely by no means call myself a Drake fan. I was not really into any of his music for the most part, but his a few of his songs, at least two to three of his songs from this beef, is like the most I've liked Drake possibly ever.
Wow.
Okay.
Which again says a lot.
That is saying something.
Like, I really don't like Drake, but I have to be somewhat objective and admit Family Matters is like, it's a pretty good song. He's got 2 beat switches on it. He's got good bars for the most part. There's some kind of corny lines, I think, but for the most part, good bars, good burns. But yeah, it definitely had, I agree. I had bias coming into this for sure. Yeah. I was not rooting for Drake coming into this at all.
I mean, I wasn't rooting for Drake. I knew, me personally, I relate to more Kendrick's music as a Kendrick fan. That being said, I'm not a diehard Kendrick fan either, because Kendrick to me is, for a lack of better example, he's like the Nas of the West Coast.
Whereas he's a very cerebral experience. Yeah. He's very, you got to stop and like, look up what his lines mean and what's the double triple entendre or whatever, and then blah 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 blah. It's very deep. Yeah. Lyrically.
Yeah. So it's not like a casual listen every now and then. I mean, like you could put on, Humble or whatever, or Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. You put those on because the chorus is, there. But then when you dissect the song, it's like, oh, you're really talking about some real shit, which is cool. I get it. And I appreciate that art form. It's just not a all the time kind of thing. You got to be in the right headspace for it. So, So that's kind of how I went into it. I didn't know it was going to go as far as it did. Because when I listened to them songs, I was like, whoa, wow.
Yeah. Meet the Grams, especially, I feel like, is kind of hard to listen to. Like the first time you hear it is like very much, I think most people probably had a, eyes wide open, kind of slack jawed, like, what the hell? What? What? He's going off right now. But it's like such a heavy song, whether, it's kind of come out that like some of it's maybe not true and it's still kind of a gray area or whatever. But
I got thoughts on that.
Well, let's hear them.
Okay.
What thoughts you got?
So when I listened to The Heart Part 6 by Drake, again, I'm not trying to diss him per se, but listening to that diss record, quote unquote, gives me Nicki Minaj vibes.
Bro, he literally had, whenever he dropped The Heart Part 6, for like the next 2 days, the #1 trending hashtag on Twitter was "Nah, Drake."
Yeah. Nobody was trying to hear that. So
because it wasn't really a diss. It was, first of all, it was a defense.
It was damage control.
It was damage control, and he had so many like whack, corny ass lines that like he like burned himself like twice. Like he said, the people you're getting information from are clowns, and then like 10 bars later, he's like, I'm the one who fed you all that information. So okay, you're calling yourself a clown then. And then he's like, what was the line? Something like, I don't want to like get in a battle with you because you're a woman beater and that feeds your nature. So he basically called himself a woman, which is like, just like, what are you trying to say? Like, I can kind of see maybe what he meant, but it was not executed well at all.
It definitely wasn't, especially considering that he was getting all that roasted from 21. Do something to me. Like, you can't call yourself. The internet was already roasting you enough with that whole line with that song 21 and the animation they did for that, hysterical. But that track, that Heart Part 6 or whatever, it definitely gave me Nicki Minaj vibes in the sense of him just rambling at the end of the song and just talking nonsense and trying to take the higher road after you already got your ass whooped.
I'm so glad we got the pen working. This is some good exercise. All the memes of that where it's like people who just got like the piss beat out of them, and it's like, that was some good exercise, bro. It's like, dude, you got mollywopped. You can't come out after you get totally stomped and be like, that was some good exercise.
You should rest.
Yeah.
Let your face heal. Let your muscles get back to normal, because you really You really got beat up really bad.
Oh, no. I meant to do that. See, my face was hitting your fist on purpose. Yeah.
Right.
That was some good exercise. That's how I fight.
That part annoyed me, the talking part at the end. I was like, what is he doing? Like,
well, so at that point, he had just gotten so outplayed by Kendrick with how not just the songs themselves of Meet the Grams and Not Like Us, but also like how he dropped it, like with Meet the Grams literally being within an hour, and then Not Like Us being a like worldwide like phenomenon instantaneously, and people are like dancing to it in the clubs, which is I think exactly what Kendrick intended, because on Family Matters Drake has that line where he's like talking about Rick Ross calls me a white boy that's got a good ring to it because they're waving the white flag while everyone's dancing to this song in the club. Kendrick's like, oh, you want to make a club track while you're dissing me? Bet. Let me show you how it's done. And then he drops Not Like Us and just like takes the world by storm.
I just like the fact that Drake tried to call everybody's bluff and then they reacted to it and succeeded. Like, you told Metro go shut up and make some drums. BBL Drizzy still trending. So come on, like you can't expect people to not react to the shit that you put out there, especially when you are you was on Degrassi, bro. Like, I can't take you seriously. Like, what you doing?
Yeah.
When I first got introduced to Drake was by somebody in Atlanta, and I was like, oh, okay. I like his little boppy songs, whatever. But I didn't know he had come from Degrassi. I had never heard of that show before, Degrassi. And so I was like, oh, okay, who is this guy? I didn't know who he was. So listening to his first, couple songs, they, like I said, little boppy, poppy kind of songs or whatever. I was like, oh, I like these songs. And then he really did kind of start transforming. And I was like, oh, you a thug now?
Which Kendrick talks about that, how he has all these different personas, and he's like, basically, in Kendrick's words, he's like, culture vultured different aspects of the Black community, depending on like what album or whatever theme he's working with at the time. Which, man, like, everyone of course is focusing on like the pedophile line, but I honestly think the colonizer line is what's going to like end up hurting Drake in the long term, assuming no pedophile allegations actually come out. Which I think, I'm not going to say anything on that because I have not the faintest clue on what's happening behind closed doors in that situation.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
There's a lot of publicly like suspicious stuff that everyone knows about with him. Like, he even talked about it. He brought it up himself in the Hard Part 6, Millie Bobby Brown or whatever. No one mentioned that until you said it, Drake. But yeah, stuff like that. It's just like weird.
We all knew about it. Or
we all know something weird's going on, but I don't think there's any hard evidence of anything one way or the other. But yeah.
We all thought it was a little weird, but because I mean, she was the one that kind of said something about it.
Yeah, like on the red carpet during an interview.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
You talking to Drake? About what?
She said about boy problems is what she said, which is whenever the whole world was like eyebrow cocked, like, say what now?
Right. Like the people's eyebrow,
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, whoa, what, why are you talking to Drake?
Definitely weird stuff going on.
I put it this way: historically, in different rap beefs, usually if somebody comes out there, a particular artist in your camp, the camp comes through and defends your peoples, right? So like, let's go back, think about what the whole what's the name? What's that? 50 Cent and Ja Rule beef. Eminem got caught up in that. He said his piece. Busta Rhymes caught astray. He came through defending himself along with M and 50. So your camp comes through, right? Ain't nobody coming through for Drake. Where Lil Wayne at? Where Nicki at? Where Cash Money at? Where Tyga?
Yep.
Nobody. So, and I'm thinking to myself, how you pissed off a lot of people in this industry.
It really, I mean, it's a little hyperbolic on his part, but like the 20v1 line, like we didn't really go over it yet, but there was like, it seemed like for at least a few days, like the entire industry was going after Drake. You had Rick Ross, The Weeknd, of course, Future. I mean, it was like 8 or 9 other different artists were all like looked like, at least for a moment, like they were all going to be involved in this.
Yeah, at some point. And again, I don't know. I just found it profound that you don't see a lot of people coming to his aid.
Kanye hopped on it, which was infinitely funny to me that he did a remix of like that and like nobody cared.
I mean, that's okay.
That was such a small blip.
That's
for everybody.
That's a whole nother conversation. We can't bring Kanye West into this.
Sorry, you're right. So, all right, I want to take a kind of a small left turn here. I want to talk about J. Cole's bit and all this just real quick. What you guys think about it? Because at first, this was the internet's reaction was, "Oh, he a bitch." Whenever he first like took his song off and apologized and everything. Then once like Meet the Grams came out and Not Like Us came out, everyone was like, "No, you know what? J. Cole's he's just over there frolicking in meadows, sipping tea, having a peaceful time, minding his own business. He's straight chilling right now."
When I saw that, and I was like, well, when J. Cole apologized, I was like, you know what? That's a grown man. That is a grown man to take yourself out of something that you didn't feel good about anyway.
Exactly.
That's fine.
That was my process. Now, people did say he was bitch for doing it, but I was like, no. That man said, you know what? I didn't want to do this in the first place. I was peer pressured, basically. And I didn't really want to do it, but I did it because everybody was expecting it. But I'm not that person to do what people expect, so I'm apologizing.
There's been just recently apparently at least a couple different other rap artists had like reached out to Cole after 7 Minute Drill dropped and was basically like, "Nah, man, look, I know you think this is just going to be like a rap beef, like kind of exercise type thing to work out the pin, see who's got the strongest pin game. Nah, man, it ain't that. Kendrick is coming for blood. You don't want no part of it. Like, you need to back out now." And so I think coupled with, because J. Cole is generally known as like a peaceful guy. He's not like all about like being antagonistic. And like his persona is more of a peaceful, chill guy. So I definitely understand, like you were saying, if it didn't sit right in his spirit, that I feel like that was part of it. But then I think also everyone else was just like, "Nah, man, it's not what you think it is. You need to get out now or you're going to be catching strays left and right."
Right. I mean, it probably is what it is. And I don't doubt that. But I also don't doubt what he says about the way he felt about it. Because I didn't see him being like that, like getting into a whole beef with anybody. And the fact that he kind of got into it, and I was like, J. Cole is beefing with somebody? That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, and I respect that. And I know he's a grown man, and he did a grown man thing. But fuck all of that. We here for the petty shit. So
I do have a part of me that definitely feels that way.
I wanted him to be petty. Look, sometimes it's okay to sling some mud every now and then. Just because
he says on 7 Minute Drill is like, I got 2 like whole albums worth of songs ready to go, locked and loaded. Exactly. I was so hyped.
I know.
I was so hyped, and then it didn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. So I get it. I understand the mature side of it, being in the dough, blah 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 blah. He's frolicking in the meadows, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I am a little disappointed because I wanted that verse from Cole, just to see his pen game at maximum strength. I wanted to see that selfishly for myself. That being said, I mean, I hope that's not the narrative of people telling him to back down from Kendrick. Because again, I like Kendrick too, but he got that short man situation where he just really just angry at the world. And I like that for Kendrick too.
Well, okay, so I don't think they were like warning him of like, "Oh, you don't want to mess with Kendrick right now." I think it was more so like, you are coming into this thinking it's going to be like kind of a friendly exhibition of a playful, like not serious. Let's see who's the best of the big three, and we'll rap at each other for a little bit, and then whoever comes out on top, we're all winners. And then they told him basically like, it's not that. So if that's what you want, it's not that. And I think once he found out it wasn't that, he was like, "Oh, I don't want any part of it."
I still feel that Cole will be down with the smoke, and I'm quite sure Kendrick will come out with a Meet the Coles too. It'll just be a 15-second skit because I would love it. It ain't much out there for J. Cole.
Like their business is their business, and they don't have no drama.
Exactly. So that being said, I do feel like Kendrick may not like Cole, but Kendrick hates Drake. Like he hates that motherfucker. Like for him to come out with that this much material back to back, and we all know Kendrick take about 30 years between each albums. For him to come out with that content as quick as
he had it ready,
he hated that motherfucker.
Now, I do believe it's possible that this would not have went the way it did if on Pushups. I think there's literally just like one line near the end where Drake has the Bobby and Whitney line. Because if you don't know, Kendrick's wife's name is Whitney. So anytime he says Whitney in a song, he's basically, you know, referring to his wife, even if it's like a backwards type of reference or whatever. Yeah. I think that was literally the line where it went from, because like Pushups, a lot of the jokes is like even the cover art is like Kendrick's like size, you know, supposed size 7 shoe size. So it's all a lot of like short jokes and talking about how Drake has better numbers and more streaming and more money, blah, 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 like kind of basic stuff. And then Kendrick comes out with Euphoria and he's like, I hate the way you talk. I hate the way you dress. I hate the way you walk. And it's like, oh shit, that is not the same level. But it's literally, I think just because he said that Whitney line, I think that's what Kendrick took that very personally.
Yeah. Cause I was like, you saying, I hate the way you walk, talk, dressed. I hate the way, I'm like, that's it? For like, just for that part of the song. Yeah. I was like, wow, he must have been like in his feelings when he got to that part. Like, I just hate everything about you, period, point blank. I don't have anything specific, but this part, I just hate you.
Yep, I hate you. I hate you existing.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, he and his feelings for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, because I was like, that's like bottom line. I hate everything about you.
Yeah,
Well, he also, okay, so it was that line, and then I'll also say, I think him then following up Pushups with using Tupac, an AI generated Tupac, which is like Kendrick's like biggest idol and hero. And that was just like, if he wasn't pissed off enough about the Whitney line, that was what really pushed him over the edge. I am positive.
Speaking of which, the moment
that's a dumbass move, dude, on his part.
Well, that was dumb, but it was even dumber to do an AI Snoop Dogg when Snoop Dogg is still here.
Yeah,
and and then Snoop had to find out on Instagram, and he like, the fuck, bro.
I was like, why would you do that? Like, Snoop ain't dead.
Yeah,
like Tupac is, despite what some people think, Tupac is. So I was like, now granted, I didn't like the fact that he AI'd nobody's voice, period. But how you do that to somebody that's alive?
Yeah, and
I did see
you want to jump on this track.
That's the proper way.
You know he was gonna say no. That's why you did it. And I was like, come on.
I did see some big Drake fans, I think, were huffing some copium that were like, no, see, as part of his master plan to get us talking about AI and music and how it's, you know, how we need to be looking at it and thinking about it more. And I'm like, that is so dumb. You are reaching so hard with that.
That is unbelievably dumb. Because like I listened to Tupac's new diss on Drake the other day that came out, and and he was upset about it too.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Who recorded that one?
Oh, Tupac. He's still alive.
Oh, what island is he on?
Say what now?
That's what I thought. Okay.
He's on Treasure Island.
Hey.
I was convinced that you weren't one of those people, but I feel like you might be like undercover, one of those people that thinks he's on an island chilling.
Look, I don't know what island it is, but I know he's there with Elvis and JFK. All right.
Oh,
you know what? That album gonna be fire. Tupac featuring JFK.
Oh. Tupac featuring JFK, really?
I mean, look, honestly, I'd rather have JFK than MGK. Am I wrong?
What's wrong with him?
That's a whole nother episode. Anyway.
Yeah. True. We don't got enough time to answer that question here, Charita, today.
Look, we still got 95 other songs to discuss from Beyonce and Taylor Swift.
I know, right?
But overall, I mean, I crown Metro Boomin the victor. along with Kendrick, because I'm biased with the producer love.
Look, all I'll say is I could have talked about I could have broken down each of these songs bar by bar if we really had the time and we wanted to. I highly recommend, if that's something you're interested in and you're listening to this right now, just look up, go to Genius Lyrics and look up like Euphoria, look up Not Like Us, look up Family Matters. I think those are the three like most dense lyrically out of the beef, and there's just so many good bars from both artists. Honestly,
I think Meet the Grams was the one that just shocked me the most.
It was, yeah.
I was like,
that one's the most personal.
And mind you, I was listening to it when I was at physical therapy, but I have my headset on and I'm listening to Meet the Grams, and my face is, I can't hide anything on my face. Anybody that knows me knows that I cannot hide anything on my face. And so I'm listening to the song while I'm getting iced down, and my face is going, I know, like 50 different expressions throughout this whole song. And sometimes I'm putting my head down and shaking my head. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Like, I wasn't talking out loud, but my face was, I know, had to be in so many different contortions. Like, because listening to the song, I was like, wow. Oh my, like,
yeah.
Opening the song.
Nobody should be talked about like this.
At least publicly, for sure.
Starting out the song, directing like what he's talking about, straight to like naming him even Drake's son. It was just like, within like the first like 15-20 seconds, I was like, oh my God. This was like, Drake thought Family Matters was a nuclear option. No, this was the nuclear button. He just pressed it.
And then and I am trying to move us on, but I do want to say this one last little bit though. Just stylistically, each one of Kendrick's songs shows a different style, technique, flow. Yeah, it shows versatility. It shows art. Like he started out with Euphoria of like a spoken word situation, and then he just like jumped right into
the intro for like the first minute. Yeah.
And I'm just like,
and the song.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm here because I know the song as soon as it comes in. I start automatically in my mind singing the actual song, the real song by Teddy Pendergrass. So I started singing it in my head, and I was like, wait, because I thought, I was like, wait, did they put this on the playlist? Like, this isn't the because like you said, Terrio, as the whole beef was going on and they dropping songs, I'm not keeping up like as they're dropping them. So I'm listening to the playlist. And I was like, wait, did my playlist change? Who added the Teddy P songs on here? This is what? And so then I hear Kendrick come in. I was like, oh. So
which one was that? Euphoria that used the Teddy Pendergrass? Okay. I'm familiar with the artist, but I'm not familiar enough with his music to have picked up on that.
The song is called "You're My Latest My Greatest Inspiration." That's the title. "You're My Latest My Greatest Inspiration." And but when I heard the music come in, that I was like, oh, I haven't heard this song in a long time. And then Kendrick comes in, and I was like, oh. And it's just like that somebody had posted online somewhere. I saw it and people were talking about it. They were saying, like, basically, you shouldn't go to war with somebody that, does prison workouts to old school music. And I said, what?
That seems like good advice to me.
Okay.
Wow.
And mind you, I was all over. I'm always all over social media: TikTok, Instagram, the new Twitter. All of that. But they said you should not go to war with somebody that does prison workouts to old school music. That's like looking at your uncle that just got released, like thinking he's still in the mindset of being in prison. But he like old school music. He not about that rap life, but he like an old school, And I was like,
yeah, that's a certain mind frame for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Why did they have to do that to Kendrick? I mean, but I saw a video of him working out in like long sleeves. He was fully dressed in black. Like he wasn't wearing workout clothes. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah. I mean, look.
This was talking about.
When you short like that, you gotta defend yourself at all times. So I get it.
Well, true. He's very LA.
But yeah, all in all, just I just give it to Kendrick lyrically, stylistically, all of that. Whereas Drake is one note Drake, even in the diss records.
Kendrick is a Pulitzer Prize winning rap artist.
Exactly.
Hard to stack up to that.
When I thought about this beef, that's my first thought. I was like, how is Drake gonna go up against a Pulitzer Prize winning rapper?
Well, now we know. now we know how that worked out.
It was an unfortunate situation.
Yep.
But it was great for all of us rap fans. This was the most fun I've had, and like as someone who followed this from beginning to end, it was the most fun I've had in rap, in like listening to rap for some time.
We'll definitely talk about it in our 50s and 60s.
I remember when Drake was doing the push-ups and yo auntie got the BBL Drizzy. Oh, I still like that on my iPod 47.
Remember saying OV ho? OV ho? OV ho?
I never met the Grams. I knew we might be kin to some Grams. You know some Grams over there?
You know nothing about that.
I sure know. I ain't take my pills. I don't know nothing about that.
Don't know nothing about that. I was like, oh my goodness. The part when he was talking about Drake's son, was that Meet the Grams? When he was like giving him the lesson, he said at the end, listen to this when you're 18.
Yeah, that
was Meet the Grams.
Yeah. Okay. The part that I'm talking about is the part when he was speaking directly to Drake's son.
Yeah, that's Meet the Grams, yeah.
Oh my God. I was like,
the level of disrespect.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, calling this man's son, your son, basically, like, son. Son.
Let me give you life lessons since your dad won't. Basically, yeah.
I was like, if I was Drake, that probably would have pissed me off more than anything else. Cause I'm like, wait, don't come from my fatherhood. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, well, the courts had to, so that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, but oh my goodness, that Meet the Grams was
foul, but in the best way.
It was eye opening.
All right,
let's take a moment to process this beef. And then let's get into some country. Let's take a quick little break.
Yes.
And we'll be right back with two country queens going at it.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
And we're back.
We're back. Here we are.
Okay, so the beef is still cooking in the country kitchen, as they say.
They're not.
Yeah, they're not beefing, but people want them to fight, want them to go at it.
Well, and there is historically with the whole, was it the Grammys with Kanye West, famously.
The MTV Awards.
So the connection between them goes back, I feel like, to at least that point, if maybe before, but at least that point, which was like a decade ago now at this point.
So we're saying Kanye started it all.
Yeah.
No, Kanye said that about everything.
Kanye says a lot of stuff.
It was all me. It was all.
But like Terry said at the very top of the episode, both of these albums were like, I think Cowboy Carter came out and it was like 2 weeks later, like tops, like a week to 2 weeks later. Taylor Swift dropped Tortured Poet Department. So they're still, they're definitely not like beefing in the sense like Drake and Kendrick are, because man, that would be hilarious to witness though. See Taylor Swift come out with the Beyonce diss track, and then Beyonce come out with the Taylor diss track. Beyonce would like wipe the floor with Taylor. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah, but it would still be so entertaining to watch.
I would.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. It'd be like
someone kick a puppy.
Yeah, literally that. I was about to say like a gorilla like kicking a puppy across the field goal. Like that's not.
You're
that's
right.
Not even right.
Kicking a puppy across the field goal, really.
I'm just saying it's good.
But okay,
I would really like to see that though. I really would.
What, the puppy?
No. The puppy get you? It means the beef. Them dissing each other. Yeah. I would like to just see what their attempts would be. That's what I'm curious if I just want to see what Taylor could do in that situation, honestly.
Look, we saw Taylor's remake of September by Earth, Wind and Fire. That's the.
Did we?
Why the hell do you have to remind me of that?
Did we?
Me and Terrio did.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay, I didn't.
You want to pull it up for Charita?
Yeah, let's let her hear it. How bad it is.
Oh.
I mean, I feel like it's only bad if you like the original Earth, Wind, and Fire version.
Original version. Don't mess it up for me. I don't hate Taylor Swift, so okay, I'll listen to it.
Okay, that's all I could take of that.
I had to take my headphones off for that, dude.
Okay.
I couldn't even listen to it.
So, Charita, what did you think of that?
Well, the Beyonce album came out, and it's called Cowboy Carter Act 2. You know, it was originally supposed to be the first album of the acts, the trilogy. However, it came out second because she knew we needed Renaissance first because of what was going on in the world. Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay. Charita has spoken. So, okay.
I'm sorry. You know what? Let me come back to the more composed Charita, the one that doesn't show all of her emotions on her face. However, she doesn't exist. But let's go back to her. I don't hate Taylor Swift. I don't dislike Taylor Swift. I don't think about Taylor Swift much at all.
Bruh.
That's all I can say. I mean,
That's so brutal, Charita. That's so brutal in a way that's like way more brutal than if you just like didn't like her music.
I'm just being honest. I like some of her music. I'm not gonna lie. Like Bad Blood, that was my song. And I mean, it's a couple other of her songs, you know, but in general, I really just don't think about her much. And that's just being honest. The only reason her name or her presence comes across my mind is because she's all over social media because she is so big.
Yeah, that's fair.
I personally don't think much about her.
So
I don't know if I'm her targeted demographic.
I don't think any of us are, to be honest.
So
no, I will openly admit, I just listened to these albums yesterday and today, probably
for like the first time.
Well, like all the way through.
Oh, well,
I've tried so many times.
So let's think. If you didn't listen to the playlist yet, Tortured Poet Department is, I believe, 31 songs long. And then Cowboy Carter is, I think, 28 or 27 songs long. So it's like just shy of 60 songs combined. So it is a lot of music.
It's a lot of listening, and it's a lot.
It is.
And the thing is, it's like, okay, I've preached so many times on this podcast about having a album as a full body of work, having a substantial piece of art, all that good stuff. Having a album that's more than 6 songs, I'm fine with that. I didn't mean 60.
Yeah,
just somewhere between like 16 and maybe like 18 on a good day. Not 27.
Yeah, that's
not
too
35.
much.
That's too much damn music. And then, okay, I'm gonna let y'all talk before I go all the way off.
They're trying to get us back to when albums were full albums. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but these are double albums though.
Yeah, both of these are basically double albums.
These are double albums though. Like they went back to the old school No Limit days when you had the double album or double CD, disc 1, disc 2.
Fold out part for
the fold. Yes,
CD
like
in the color.
Yes.
So okay, I do feel like for both of these albums, like the Torture Poets Department, it does literally say the Anthology, which does kind of have the connotation of a bunch of kind of different things that have, you know, yeah, it's got some length to it. It's a bunch of things put together to make it longer. And both of them, I do feel like do, for the most part, like kind of encapsulate what you were saying, Terrio, as far as being like one body of work, like thematically speaking, at least, and like sonically to a large degree. I feel like
I agree. I mean, it does do that. It's just the body of work I was looking for was like a lake, not an ocean.
Well,
like that's the
I'll
issue
also say
for me.
this, in my opinion, please don't come at me for my opinion, any fans of these people. I felt like, especially on the Taylor Swift album, it's a lot of like very same sounding songs. And I think the fact that you have like 31 songs just really compounds that fact versus if you only had 15. Yeah, some of the songs kind of sounded alike. I would just play that off as, oh, well, it's, again, like I was just saying, thematically tied to the album or whatever. But whenever you have 31 and you have 15 of them that really kind of just in my head at least blend together, it makes it really hard.
Really that many songs on the album?
31 songs. I checked like just a minute ago.
I fell asleep listening to the album and I woke up and it was still playing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of songs on that album.
Okay. Well, yeah.
You don't even know where to begin.
The album itself, just by its own, so not with the rest of the playlist, is 2 hours and 2 minutes.
To be listening to basically the same song and same kind of vibe the whole 2 hours. Yeah. Well, that's why I say I don't think I'm her targeted demographic. I'm just not. But I do agree with you, Brandon. As I was listening to the album, I was like going from song 1 to song 2 to song 3. And I'm like, this is the same song, like the same, really, really strongly similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like very strongly similar songs until you got to like a certain point.
There was a few that stood out in my opinion, but overall there was a lot that sounded similar to each other. Yeah,
like the first 4 or 5, I was like, am I listening? I'm listening to the same song.
Yeah. So definitely when you're having this on in the background and you're like trying to multitask, you really think it's just like one long song. And then once like today, I was off work today, so I actually had time to like not be distracted by work and like let me just put it on and listen. And then I also think my work speakers are decent enough quality, but playing it on a better sound system makes it a little bit more enjoyable. Same thing with the Beyonce album. It's just, I was not a fan of neither one of these albums, to be truthfully honest.
Really?
Now hold up. Initially, the first couple times, I could not get through. I just couldn't catch it. And then, it was about to get worse. I got a hot take. Then, up until right before we sat down to record today, I actually thought Taylor Swift album was better than Beyonce's for a second. Mainly because just the Beyonce album, the disparate connections with the skits and stuff, I wasn't catching it. And then also like the whole genre blending thing that she was doing with all of the stuff, I wasn't catching that. I wasn't catching the narration of the, what's the name, the lady show, whatever,
the Linda Martell show.
Yeah,
thank you. I wasn't catching that reference or whatever else. I was just like, okay, let's get on to the next song. And then also I played it with a better sound system and I can actually hear the full song a lot better with the bass and everything. And that makes a tremendous difference. Yeah. But I don't know. I would say I like the last half of Beyonce's album more than anything.
I'd agree with that.
But I was pleasantly surprised by Taylor Swift because this is the most Taylor Swift I've ever listened to ever.
Right.
So I don't have a frame of reference of her past stuff, her whatever. This is my only reference of listening to Taylor Swift. And the first thing I will have to say about this Taylor Swift album is how the fuck did this not have a parental explicit lyrics sticker on this album? Because
she says
like, she is cussing every other song.
Definitely surprised me because I'm in the same boat as you, Terrio, as far as like not really having any frame of reference for Taylor Swift like at all. So that definitely surprised me. But I also I came at it coming out of this after listening to it and having no frame of reference beforehand. If this might be a controversial hot take here, but if this is what the rest of her stuff sounds like, how the hell has she made $1 billion off of it is my question. Because I did not think this was that great. I thought this was very mid, if I'm being honest. Outside of like maybe 2 or 3 songs on the entire thing.
So here's the thing. So production wise, definitely a mid, all the way down to a meh, in my opinion, on a lot of the songs.
At best.
However, thanks to both of y'all bullying me to learn to listen to lyrics, I kind of can see.
Even the lyrics are kind of whack, though.
No, they're whack, but they're tongue in cheek, and like so it's playful. So like if you're it's that what's that kind of relationship they say people got now? That one sided relationship thing.
Toxic.
Yes, Brand. That's exactly what it's called.
Not toxic. Parasocial. There we go. Parasocial relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like her. Huh?
I've never heard that before.
So parasocial is where like if you have like a big YouTuber, a big like streamer, and someone is like getting on their videos and on their streams and is like interacting with them as if they're actually like best friends in real life. It's parasocial because it feels like that social need, sort of, but it's not an actual social connection in reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
New
so
for me. Okay.
Hey, you know, hey, I learn a new word every now and then. I might be ignorant, but I can throw a big word out every now and then. But so I think within her lyrics and her fan base, I think they look for the parasocial relationship within her lyrics to the where she will throw little things in there that her fan base will pick up on, like little cues, or I guess lack of better words, dog whistles or whatever, for her fans. Be like, hey, I see y'all out there. I'm gonna throw this out there because I know y'all talking about this. I know y'all thinking about this or whatever else. So there's a couple lines. Like there's one song off of her album that I really, really like, honestly. It was Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
Yes, I like
that one.
That one's good. That one, Florida, mainly because Florence and the Machine. Yeah. Her part on that was really good. And then what was I forget what the other one was. I'm trying to like
but Daddy, I Love Him. I like that one too.
That one was I liked that one a little bit, what I liked about that song was sonically it was nice, but the lyrics I thought were kind of dumb on that, or maybe I just didn't get it.
It was to me, it was really childlike.
Like a lot of these, this whole album, man, gave me like
that's kind of the point. But
maybe it gave me like a middle school drama, like high school drama type vibe for a lot of this album, which just I don't know. Again, like you were saying, Charita, I think I'm not the target audience, so it just didn't hit right.
I mean, I agree with you. But again, I just see, I guess because I work with a lot of toxic people, I can see how these songs can speak to those people who are in these kind of relationships, to where like, Daddy, I love him. I'm going to be with him. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm pregnant. You should see your face. I'm not though. You know, like for her to kind of put that kind of playful banter within the song itself, I think some people will identify with that and be like, okay, I was in that quote unquote that situation. And then there's like the other song, I forget which one it was, but like she was basically saying that like, hold on, I think it might be Down Bad. I think where she basically said like, yeah, I might be depressed as hell, but I'm out here faking it till I make it.
Yeah,
you know. So I mean, I like the simplicity of it because it makes it more relatable for some people. Whereas, like, not flashing back to the previous Beef segment, but you got the Kendricks that are going to be all philosophical, got to paint this whole narrative and everything. And sometimes less is more, is what I'm trying to say.
That's
the long way
fair.
of me trying to say less is more. So I would give her kudos for that. Am I that high school drama schoolgirl with the blonde hair?
Yes. Sorry.
Brett.
Look, I told you that in strict confidence, Brandon. You can't put that out to people like that.
It's not like I shared the picture or anything. I mean,
it's a nice picture. Should we release it?
Yeah, I'll just put your picture up because we are twins after all.
Oh, man.
Yep. So whatever he do to me, he gonna do to you.
Bruh.
It's supposed to be on my side. We're against you, Terrio.
I'm against everyone right now. I'm beefing. Come at me, bros.
Come at me, bro.
But yeah, overall, yeah, I definitely agree with you. It was definitely her album was kind of.
I do think I also maybe had some bias because all that I've seen about Taylor Swift of the last year to year and a half is, or at least like the majority of what I've seen about her, has to do with her dating the football player Travis, whatever, or Tyler
Kelsey.
Yeah. So I kind of again, my own bias may be working against me a little bit. I was kind of expecting this to be not as like depressing and like emo of an album. Emo's maybe not the right word there, but it's very like, pining after past like boyfriends and stuff and thinking about mistakes and regrets. Like it's that type of vibe for a lot of it. And I was really expecting her to be like more upbeat and positive. That was not what we got.
I was definitely expecting more Nickelodeon, Disney Channel kind of vibes, but not her cussing every other word. And I was not expecting that at all. That really shocked me. And then it's like subtle because I heard about it's like,
yeah, the first time you hear it, you're like, did I hear that right?
What?
Is Taylor Swift just dropping an F-bomb?
Yeah, multiple F-bombs on this album.
And it's like, Down Bad is 4 songs in.
I didn't expect the poppy, happy, peppy Taylor Swift on it. I mean, it's called the Tortured Poets Department after all.
Yeah, in hindsight.
I was like, oh, he finna come in here and write lyrics about old boyfriends, how, they did her bad and how she took it and how, now she's found a new love because now she dating Travis Kelce. And then next album, she gonna be talking bad about him because they'll be broke up. And I mean, it's kind of just a circle with her, I'm in love now and my past boyfriend did me bad and, he did this and he did that and now I'm in love again. And then the next album is like, well, my ex-boyfriend, he did this and that. But now I found another one. And I'm like, the Tortured Poets Department, I already knew what it was going to be.
Yeah, I should have known.
And I mean, with the first song coming into the album, I was like, oh, this sounds exactly like some music that a group of tortured people that do nothing but.
And I didn't even know Post Malone was on that until like the third time listening through, I actually caught that he was featured.
Yeah.
I'm personally mad that he's on both of their albums. You know that, right?
Wait, he's on
He's on Beyonce album too.
Where?
He's
like halfway through Beyonce's album.
Which song is he
on Beyonce's album?
Oh, is he? I really like this song. Oh, he is.
Yeah. But
so, okay, I got to talk about this one song. I was just looking through the album for Taylor Swift, and I look in people's windows. Can we just all agree that song is weird as hell? What is she? What is that? That's got to be a metaphor, right? I'm hoping she's not really going out and looking in people's windows. What does that mean?
As far as like, because most people, well, most artists, the songs that they come out with when they deal with relationships and stuff like that, not all of them are about them. Most of them probably aren't about their actual relationships themselves. So I feel like that's kind of what she was kind of hinting at. Like, because I feel like most artists do that. Like,
that sounds like a reach to me. That sounds like a straight up reach to me. I feel like Taylor Swift is like the Goldilocks of like the Three Bears, like breaking and entering into places that she ain't got no business being in, and then gonna play the victim at the same time. So she might be looking at people's windows. I'm just saying, because it might be just right for her.
Fair.
Okay, all kidding aside, I think how people say like your eyes are like the window to the soul. So I'm thinking she's like looking into people's eyes. That's my vibe on that. That's my take on that.
Or it could just be like looking into like other people's, just like how people are living. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it could be like with like Instagram and stuff like that today. You could say that's a window into someone else's life, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's just like looking like she's looking at like other people be happy, maybe, I guess. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's still a weird, I look through people's windows. It's like such a weird, that's like, no one's pulled you aside and be like, hey, this both the title and weird. The chorus, it's a little creepy. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I personally felt offended by the smallest man who ever lived.
That one was
still offended.
Don't worry about that.
That was honestly one of the ones I kind of liked. It was a little bit more different thematically.
I saw the title. I was like, why's she talking about me? How'd she find out? The rumors aren't true.
Next. There are women present There's a lady present, Terrio.
What? I'm just saying. We respect everybody's opinion.
You are
regardless.
I felt wrong or awful
at this point. You are kind of ridiculous.
I is who I is.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that I broke both of y'all.
So
that's funny.
Okay, I want to talk about Cowboy Carter now, and I feel like Charita probably does too. So I do want to ask before we dive into it. Okay, do you still feel like it's the lesser of the two albums, Terrio?
No, not anymore. Once I listened to the album with the sound system blasting, and I got a chance to actually hear,
because this is Music Gumbo 101. I feel like, dude.
Exactly.
I was about to say, how can you not love this album?
Exactly. I wasn't catching it because I wasn't in the frame to really hear everything the way I needed to hear it, and also to catch the segues. Because I did like the couple songs I did hear. I like it's just that the first half was kind of, it's a little jarring initially. But then once you like repeat listen to it and you kind of know what's coming, you kind of get the segues. Like, okay, I see the picture now. Because beforehand, it was just Beyonce, boom, here she is doing slightly country. But I would like to say, I don't think this is definitely not a country album. It's like country inspired, or it's more acoustic inspired.
It's Beyonce's Beyonce take on country, which is like, if you're gonna do a genre hop, this is, I feel like, a good example of how to do it. She didn't go and try to make country music that sounds like country music. She made country music that sounds like Beyonce made country music, which is, that's what you need to do as an artist. You know, you want to put your own sound, your own spin on it.
She said it. She said it's not a country album. It's a Beyonce album.
Yeah. And she did. She achieved
Everybody really thought it was like full country album. Because I mean, honestly, I thought it was. I mean, you see her in Cowboy Get Up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You automatically thinking, okay, what is this album really finna sound like?
Yeah, so like that was my issue. Like going into it was like I was expecting a full on country, and then I kind of bounced around a little bit because again I was at work listening to it for the first time, and I was like, okay, where's that Afro beats on this? And then it was just like, and then like another song came on. I was just like, okay, I hear the line dancing part of it, and then we just switched to, oh, okay, so now she's just full on rapping now. Okay,
yeah. When Spaghetti comes on in the middle, and that's like, that's like not really country at all.
Exactly,
might be my favorite song on the album, honestly.
I mean, she did snap pretty hard on that. I ain't gonna lie. But it was just one of those things where I just had to catch the cadence on it. So that was user error on that one. And definitely, I would say Beyonce definitely has a better album compared to Torture Poets, even though I like a couple songs off of Torture Poets. That being said, Beyonce's album isn't flawless. There's like a couple songs on there that I was like,
but instead of it being a few songs I like and the rest, I'm like, this is kind of all sounds the same and washes together in my head. It's like the opposite. I like most of Beyonce's albums, and there's a few that I'm like, kind of can pass on these, kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're kind of inverse of each other for me.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in and say the one that I don't like right out the back that I wanted to like, but it just was not hitting for me. And that's the two most wanted, Beyonce and Miley Cyrus.
That was the first song that I liked on the album. And I was surprised too, don't get me wrong. But I was like, I kind of like this song. But then, of course, over time, it quickly switched over to a different song.
Well, I was excited for it. Like, I was also excited for this song. Like, just seeing, Beyonce, Miley Cyrus, that'll be a good matchup. And I think I maybe had my expectations set a little high. And I kind of agree with Terrio here. It didn't quite deliver, so I was a little disappointed in that one as well.
I was overall disappointed because to me it sounded like you had two people singing the same song independently of each other and then layered on top of each other.
Yeah.
So at points, it felt like they were fighting, and Beyonce's voice and Miley's, it just was not. It was not going hand in hand. And like, it was fighting. It was fighting the whole time. And I wanted to like it. And even with listening to it with better sound system and hearing the whole, hearing all the bass and everything, like how it's supposed to be heard, it just was not, it wasn't hitting for me. Everything else I can roll with it. But like even Post Malone, I still don't understand what the hell Post Malone is. Like, I don't know if he's rap, country, R&B singer. Like, I didn't know. I was so confused because he does everything. You talking about somebody that does all genres?
He's got some range.
Like he did songs with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like a rock song.
I mean, when you think about everybody else that's on this album with her, I was like, Post Malone? What? I didn't know Post Malone was a country star.
He did actually, before he got famous as a rapper, he did try and break out as like an acoustic, like guitar / singer.
Oh,
but, like did not have like much success at all. There's like really old YouTube videos you can look up of him like trying to play at different places or whatever.
Because I don't know his range.
I mean, it's not.
I just know he's on a lot of different songs with different people.
His like those old videos, I wouldn't recommend like looking up if you want like quality music, because that was like before he got big and like really refined. But just if you're
quality,
yeah, if you're curious just to see like his roots, I guess it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say one of my favorite songs on the album, kind of going the opposite of you, Terrio. I want to be more positive to your negative here. Is I really dug her Jolene rendition. I thought it was pretty good. Y'all didn't like that one?
I love Dolly Parton.
I mean, okay, but I like how she didn't just do a straight cover. She like mixed it up a little bit, lyrics wise, and she put her own Beyonce spin on it. And I'm not saying it's better than like the original or anything, but it was a really good rendition of it. I thought.
No, I appreciate it. Again, like I'm being a little harsh on it, but I do like how Dolly teed her up. It was like, hey, you know what? Like I the Becky with the good hair. I know somebody that back in the day I dealt with somebody just like that bitch, and then they go right into the song. So I thought that was dope. Also, I really like Dolly on Tyrant.
Tyrant is that might be my favorite song on the album. Actually, now that you say it, I think that one's my favorite. That one goes hard. I like her a lot in that one.
It's a top 3.
I just like the last half of the album. The whole last half of the album.
Yeah.
After the Linda Martell show, everything after that is solid. It's just the stuff before that is good. It kind of gets you into it. And Spaghetti, of course.
Well, yeah, but I was going to say the transitions for the whole album are really good, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe I just noticed it a lot better, but I'm like the second half of the album, like you're talking about, the transitions between those songs are so smooth, bro.
Yes.
Oh, it's whenever one song, like if you're not paying attention to whatever device you got playing the music, that's the only way to know whenever the song actually flips over, because it just perfectly plays into the next one.
Yeah.
I love that.
Always good for that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so listening to this album, I definitely can see how it should have been first compared to Renaissance. Because the last half of this album is how Renaissance is. Like it just bleeds all the way through. And every song just bleeds right into the next one. And I only listened to Renaissance once. So, and I was just like, okay, I get the vibe. It wasn't for me, but I get the vibe.
Right.
But just hearing the transition of it all. But I do want to throw this little anecdote out there for, I don't think neither one of y'all heard the album, but I don't think many people did. But it's funny how Beyonce is, I'm not comparing the two. Let me preface this first and foremost. I am not comparing the two. But I will say it is funny to me how Beyonce is getting praise and reverence for doing a country leaning, genre blending kind of album when Justin Timberlake did the same thing with Man of the Woods a while back. That was very unsuccessful.
I never listened to that album.
Exactly. But that whole album was him going back to his country roots, being back from being, because he's from Memphis. I would say he took some chances for to try to blend the sounds together, and it's nowhere near as good as Beyonce's, I would say.
Was Timbaland on the album at all?
I don't think so. I think Pharrell did most of the production with that one. Pharrell Williams.
Timberlake and Timbaland need to be together for success to happen, I feel like.
I mean, honestly, you're
like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a Timberlake fan really. And most of the time, whenever you've sent me Timberlake songs in the past, or we've had them on the playlist, it's because he either featured or was produced or both by Timberland.
Facts.
So that's why I didn't hear it. I didn't even know about it until you just said it, but I don't really keep up with Timberlake outside of that.
I was having just random thought. I was just thinking about that. But yeah, if you're into this kind of vibe, give it a listen. You may or may not like it. I mean, it's a couple songs on there I like, but I mean, to each their own, I guess.
You're you have a very broad ear.
Yes.
Don't. And I don't remember when that album came out. I remember hearing that it was coming out. I was like, nah, I'm okay. You know, I mean, it's certain people that's like automatic listen albums. Certain people. Justin Timberlake has never been an automatic listen album to me. I can hear like a song or two, and I don't care who produced it. I can hear a song or two, and I'm like, oh, okay. I might go and listen to a little, like, start listening to the album, but then I kind of just fade off and listen to something else because something else better came out. But it's one of those things, you know. This album, I mean, considering I know nothing of that man's album, sorry for that man, like Kiki said, I don't know how it compares to Cowboy Carter. You know, I just don't. I don't dislike Justin Timberlake.
No, you hate him.
I get it.
I don't hate Justin Timberlake.
No, she hates him. Don't let her lie to you guys.
I know I don't. I don't hate Justin Timberlake.
Hi, my name is Charita, and I hate Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, see, you just said it.
I say that.
It sounded just like you.
It wasn't me. Like it wasn't me. Anyway,
the reason I bring that up because I was when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, Justin Timberlake, da da da, and then I forgot that Pharrell produced produced a lot of the songs, the country hip hop fusion songs on this project, and Pharrell is the one that produced "Sweet Honey Bucket."
Okay, is that the only song he did? I was about to ask like who all, if we know who all was producing on this album. Yeah,
I had to look it up because I was.
Is it a bunch of people?
Curious. Yeah, it was a bunch of people, but there was one that stood out more than the other. And I was shocked that this guy had his hands in a lot of songs. I was shocked, but not shocked at the same time.
Weird Al. That is amazing.
You know what?
That was just the first, like...
I mean, who'd have thought it?
I would know if he produced something.
Yeah, there'd be a lot more polka, probably, in these songs if he had produced it.
Polka?
Who actually were you going to say?
Quick, we need more polka stat.
No, we don't. Go on.
The Dream was did a lot of production on this one.
He did.
So I was shocked at that. But yeah, so Pharrell had his hands in it. Swiss Beats did which one did he do? Did he do Ya Ya? Oh, it was one of the songs.
Like Ya Ya. Ya Ya's good.
Now that's my favorite song on this album. Is Ya Ya.
That's a top 3 one for me.
Yeah, it was definitely. I like Levi's Jeans.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Spaghetti, Two Hands to Heaven, The Last Tyrant. I was really hoping Dolly Parton was going to bust out and do a rap, but you know, whatever.
Not quite.
That would have been iconic.
Yo, the amount of money I would pay to see Dolly.
Right.
Go hard on some flows.
Right.
Yeah, all in all, I would definitely say Cowboy Carter. Upon re-listening and getting the full vibe, and getting a full experience listening to it, especially with the bass turned up, it makes a tremendous difference.
Definitely gonna listen to this album when we get off of there.
That's a good one. Nothing wrong with that.
I turn this album on every single morning, and I just let it play and let it play and let it play. Sometimes I forget like that I'm listening to it, and I'll start like I'll be about to make a work call. And I'm like, oh, wait, let me,
not be blasting Beyonce in the background.
It's just my background noise now. It really is. And it can be loud, but it's still my background noise. So the album is just really good.
Well, okay, I got a question for you, Charita. With you saying that, maybe you can answer it just because you've been having it play nonstop for you. I was curious, it's like the way it ends sonically, if it's meant to be like looped back to American Requiem at the top, if it's supposed to be like a cyclical.
I feel like it's supposed to be the end of American Requiem.
It's more like this, like Amen and American Requiem are the bread and every other song is the rest of the sandwich, essentially, right?
Yeah. Okay. American, I was like, when I first heard the album, I was like, why is she singing like this? Like, who told her to do this? Because why?
Like, I thought she sang very well.
I'm not saying she didn't. It's just like you don't realize how talented somebody is until you can hear their voice without music. And the fact that she can layer so well, and she's really good at ad libs, and she's really good with runs, and she's like, only a person that's really talented can layer like that on American Requiem.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So it really kind of really hit you over the head with it. So I was like,
does.
okay.
Yes, it does.
So I was like, I don't know if I want to get into this. And it took me many times to be like, okay, let's just power through this. Maybe it'll get better. And I got about 2 minutes into it. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not in the mood for this right now. Because it was like a lot of runs, a lot of stuff going on. So once I finally was in a frame of mind to get into it, I made it through it. It was fine. Then Blackbird came on. And then Blackbird, I thought that was just all her because she did all the 5,000 ad-libs in the first song. And then I look at the credits. I was like, oh, she got 5 other people on this song.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, huh. So this is like the Destiny's Child 2.0 situation. So
No.
no, I mean, like, and I mean that in the best way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's that song, because I know her voice, I know it wasn't all her. I knew it wasn't all her. And that song is really simple. So to me, because she didn't do like layering and a lot of runs and stuff on that song, I was like, yeah, this is a very simple song.
Yeah, because she was tired from the last song. She needed a break. That's what she called on reinforcements.
You are funny. I mean, Requiem was a lot. It just really. Yeah. But when people sing like that, it's just amazing. Like when I hear a really good singer, especially like on a song like that, it gives me chills. I got chills when I heard that because I was like, oh my, like that is that's professional A1 layering.
Yeah. If I was Jay-Z, I'd have her sing me to sleep every night.
You said you want her and Jay-Z to sing you to sleep?
No, I said if I was Jay-Z, I would have her sing me to sleep every night.
Oh, no. If I was Jay-Z, I'd have her do something else with me every night. But
I'll set you up for that one. I would be disappointed if you hadn't take a swing at that softball pitch I just gave you.
Yeah. You set me up for that one.
That's who you are, Terry.
Yes. Okay. Well, before we wrap this up, I did want to circle back to Taylor one more time. And like you touched on it earlier, Brandon, but I was just kind of just in awe with the whole Taylor thing, just traumatized. But that Florida song, that song is...
Florence and the Machine is haunting on that in like the best way.
Exactly. So like Florence did her thing on that. And just the song itself is so fucked up in the best way. Because it just basically just says how Florida is just the dumping ground of just, let me just get away with everything.
Yeah.
Let me just let all my inhibitions out. Let me go out here, do some coke or some blow, and then just run away to my regular life elsewhere. Just why I go down to Florida.
Yeah.
And that's basically what the whole song is about. So if you're from Florida and you enjoy the podcast, you can follow us at afterplaylist.com, as well as
Florida down there.
If you like music and you're from Florida, you can find us online at afterplaylist.com, as well as all of our other social links. Again, give us a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Until next time, keep on listening.
Keep on listening.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Black Giraffe made this.